We need to address the fact that you keep disappearing.
Well, I keep disappearing. We don't have time.
You just disappeared.
Loki is back on Disney+. While the first season was great, recent series like Secret Invasion shook our confidence in the MCU. Well, at least mine.
I can't keep looking at it because it's horrible.
What? I thought you said it didn't look that bad.
I was lying. It's terrible.
So the main question is, will the show deliver like the first season or follow suit by descending into mediocrity? Or worse?
It's not that bad. I can handle it.
How does it look?
Well, I tell you how it looks. It looks like the MCU is back. Finally. Hi there, it's Micha. If you like to hear some more details, then join me for this review video. A quick side note before we start. When a new season of a show comes along, I usually catch up by rewatching the previous season's finale. But since I created reviews for the first season, I checked out my own content to do so. And I was pleased to find that it still holds up pretty well. I will link the playlist at the end of this video. Especially the serious talk video I did with my sister Angie for the last episode in the style of a podcast has some solid ideas and summarizes the open questions, thoughts and theories for season 2 properly. If you like to check it out, it is linked above and in the video description. Now let's check out the synopsis for the second season's premiere. At the end of last season, Loki and Sylvie made their way to the end of time, where they meet He Who Remains, who created the Time Variance Authority, TVA for short. He brought them both there to offer a choice. Either kill him and unleash an army of his variants on the multiverse, or take over his guardian duties. While Loki reflects on that, Sylvie kicks him back to the TVA and kills the guy, resulting in the cliffhanger where Loki finds himself in the TVA, but everything has changed, and Mobius doesn't even recognize him anymore. Here the new episode sets in, with Mobius and some hunters chasing the perceived intruder. During his escape, he damages the floor of the TVA's control center, and soon after is pulled away from that reality into the one he knows and where he is known. However, we learn that it wasn't another reality at all, but the past, as the control room now exhibits the exact same crack in the floor. While looking for Mobius, Loki keeps being thrown back and forth in time, where in the past he discovers a tape revealing that Renslayer was always in cahoots with He Who Remains.
Professor Renslayer, you are quite a marvel. I will be proud to lead with you.
And to make things easier, I will also refer to him as Kang going forward. Meanwhile, Mobius and Hunter B-15 are summoned to the War Room to explain why they let the sacred timeline branch out. Which is that pruning a timeline means killing every person of that reality. While General Doc still wants to resume business as usual, not even caring that the timekeepers were just machines, and everyone in the TVA is a variant who got their life stolen and memory erased.
This changes nothing.
Judge Gamble agrees with our heroes and orders the military to stand down.
Tell the TVA to stop pruning.
That is when Loki pops in and, using a time stick, prunes the wall to show everyone who is really behind it all. Eager to resolve the current situation, the general opted to at least send out her men to find Sylvie, whom she blamed for the whole mess. Loki then catches Mobius up, specifically highlighting that allowing the timeline to branch out means opening the door for variants of Kang to potentially start a war across the multiverse. He also mentions not to trust Miss Minutes, as she worked with He Who Remains, and then explains why no one remembers Kang.
He built this place.
No, how would I not remember that?
Because he wiped your memories. And he obviously did it more than once.
To put an end to his disappearing act, Mobius takes Loki to the Repairs and Advancement Department, where we meet Ouroboros, OB for short. The guy who knows how to fix every piece of equipment in the TVA and even designed most of it himself. He also literally wrote the TVA guidebook.
It's a detailed index of every mechanical classification and maintenance routine in each sector. I wrote it myself.
While meeting OB, Mobius realizes that his memory indeed was altered, as the guy clearly remembers him, though he has no recollection of any prior interaction, and tries to hide that.
Remember, you got off on the wrong floor and I told you it was the wrong floor?
Yes, because then I stayed for a little bit. He took me over.
No, you left immediately.
Jumping through time again, Loki explains the situation which OB called
Time slipping.
That. I've been time slipping.
It's impossible to time slip in the TVA.
But you just saw it happen.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reconciling that.
which leads to OB building a device in the past that they can use in the present to try to stabilize Loki's state.
One temporal or extractor.
Great.
Mobius needs to use the tool in the temporal loom.
The temporal loom is where raw time is refined into physical timeline.
To pull Loki out of a time stream. This may be a bit dangerous though.
How dangerous?
Oh, not too bad if you're quick about it. Too long in it, that kind of temporal energy will peel the skin right off you.
I thought you said not too bad, and now you're talking about me getting my skin peeled off of me?
Oh, not too bad compared to what Loki has to do.
Loki has to release himself from time by pruning himself within a specific time frame of Mobius using the extractor to pull him permanently into the present, with one aspect clearly preoccupying Mobius's mind. As all the new branches are overloading the loom and pruning those branches is no option, OB needs to close its connection to the TVA before disaster strikes. To then retrofit the loom to handle the higher workload, but the time is running out and Loki has to be stabilized before that, or he will be lost in time forever.
You've got about an hour. You've got about 5 minutes.
And not to dwell on it, but Mobius has to make it back to safety in time. Or
the blast doors will close and lock you out. And then your suit will age away, you will age away, and you'll get very old and all your skin will get peeled away and you will die.
slipping again, Loki this time ends up in the future, but without a time stick to prune himself. Desperately looking for one, his timer runs out before he does.
No.
Meanwhile, not able to wait any longer, OB closes the gate, while Mobius begs him for more time.
Give him more time. He can still make it.
This is when Loki runs into Sylvie,
There you are.
and someone prunes him from behind. Being then pulled back into the present by the device, Loki comes flying and slams into Mobius, catapulting them both to safety. Which was just Mobius's luck, as on his own he wouldn't have reached the gate in time. The episode ends with a large platoon of hunters walking through a time portal under the guise of chasing Sylvie.
All this for Sylvie?
I don't buy it.
While in the mid-credit sequence, Sylvie is shown in a branched timeline in 1982, going into a McDonald's for the very first time.
I want to try everything.
Okay, my synopsis grew longer as I planned, but I wanted to be thorough. First things first, as I said in the intro, the MCU is back, with a bang. After all the recent disappointments, I was really worried. Mostly because many, though not all, missteps in Marvel TV shows stemmed from obvious rewrites and re-edits. And with all the uncertainty around Kang actor Jonathan Mayers, re-edits were more than likely. However, the showrunners opted to keep all content of a series unchanged, while Major stands trial starting at the end of this October for assault allegations. Therefore, it shouldn't screw up the show's plot, at least not for those reasons. And as everyone is innocent until proven guilty, I think that was the right move. Still, the outcome of a trial will surely have an impact on Major's future appearances as Kang, as the House of Mouse will likely have closely watched how DC handled all things Ezra Miller and the impact on their franchise. What that means remains to be seen. Now back to Loki. The first episode of season 2 was really brilliant. It would be hard to find any fault in it. And I tried for the purpose of this video. The premiere continues the story seamlessly and also lifted one of my biggest concerns, which was the season taking place in a changed reality where no one knew Loki and all of his build relations were rendered obsolete. Instead, this was just something that happened in the past and he was, or will likely, be back in the present again, though the trailer suggests that there will still be some time slips. Let's see how this will be explained. Maybe another variant? The season premiere held great emotions, especially at the end where Loki and Mobius made it back safe and sound, as well as hilarious funny moments.
Is this cracked? You're good.
Many of them due to the addition of the great Kiwi Kwang, who makes for a terrific comic relief.
Have you heard about how if you fall into a black hole, you turn into spaghetti?
No.
Good. The less you know about that, the better.
In a show where both leads are already doing a great job at it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. What is it? How does it look?
It looks. I mean, how does it feel?
It's not that bad.
Really? I mean, it look.
I guess there can never be too much fun. I hope. And some of the gags are recurring, like here in the text about spaghettification you can read on the floor. Just hysterical. Even all the tech talk in it appeared to be plausible within the world and parameters the show has previously established. I also enjoyed nods and payoffs, like Hunter D90 apologizing to Mobius for pruning him in season 1.
Mobius, I was just doing my job.
What do you mean, pruning me? Yeah, well, it's actually Renslayer who really owes me the apology.
Which was forgiven, and his redemption arc now made him an ally to our main characters, which also includes a fully devoted Hunter B15. I just hope that he doesn't turn out to betray them, or even worse, is killed off soon, because I like both the actor and the character, being a sucker for a proper redemption arc. As he was promoted to the main cast, things for sure look good so far. And I love the fact that while Mobius is already named after a symbol for infinity, the Mobius strip, which ties into the time loop theme He Who Remains introduced last season, now there is another character name doubling down on this theme with Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail. Overall, the episode was fun, interesting, fast-paced, emotional, well acted and produced, and the writing was fantastic, with great dialogue. I wasn't even bothered by the last-second return of Loki, knocking himself and Mobius to safety. Though that was really defying all odds, Loki, the god of mischief, was always lucky in that regard, so even that felt totally on brand. The big open questions this episode left for us were: what was Sylvie doing in the future, and who pruned Loki from behind? I guess we will find out somewhere along the line. And of course the main question: what would actually be the right thing to do? Pruning the branches to keep Kang's variants at bay, even though it means killing people, or letting the timeline grow out naturally? That will likely be the major theme of season 2, and I expect to learn some specifics of the overall arc in the next episode. One last call out. Only after watching the episode, in the end credits I found out that there were some major changes behind the scenes between seasons, including directors, writers and even the showrunner. However, the original showrunner, Michael Waldron, apparently is now just sharing duties with one of the writers from the previous season, Eric Martin, who is now head writer. Kate Herron, who directed all episodes of season 1, left the project after filming Rep back then, indicating that it was likely her decision and no dismissal. The new main directors for this season, and also executive producing it, are directing duo Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who already did some great work with 2 episodes of Moon Knight. I also like their previous work, which includes Resolution, The Endless and Something in the Dirt. All great but weird movies, in the best possible sense. Knowing their involvement beforehand would have made me curious but also kept me on edge, as I couldn't have been sure if their brand of weirdness will work with this series. However, if the premiere is any indication, there is nothing to worry about, for both the writing and directing. And with that being said, let's get to the rating, but before we go there, let me ask you to like and share this video if you enjoyed it so far. And if you're not a subscriber yet, maybe consider to change that. By also hitting the notification bell, you will get a heads up for most of my new videos. Now for the rating. Well, like I said, I had a great time watching this episode and enjoyed every minute of it. It gave me all I was hoping for, resolved most of a previous cliffhanger in a positive way, and everything in its fantastic weirdness made sense within the show's established parameters.
That makes perfect sense. There's no flaw in that logic.
Kiwi Kwan was a great addition to the cast, adding even more fun to the show. There was no fat one could have trimmed from the episode. And I appreciate the attention to detail, the side gags, especially recurring ones, and I really couldn't find anything to complain about. And like I said before, I really tried.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reconciling that.
Therefore, I'm rating this episode with 10 out of 10 points. That's right, 10 out of 10. Not sure if I ever handed out that score before, and maybe this is partially due to the euphoria the show gave me by just being great. After almost losing faith in the MCU due to all the Secret Invasion shenanigans. However, I even rewatched the episode to double check if the second time around I would find something that would make me subtract a point or even half of a point. But no, the episode held up. Of course, that doesn't guarantee that the rest of the show will deliver on the same level, but we are at least off to a great start. For sure, this was the best season premiere of any MCU TV show yet. And if the writing doesn't take a nosedive along the way, this could be the best season of any MCU show, even surpassing its first season. Fingers crossed. What about you? Do you share my excitement, or do you think I overstated things? Were you happy with the reveal that last season's finale showed us the past to explain why no one remembered Loki? Or was it a bit of a cop-out for you? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. So much for now, see you next time, and thanks for watching. He Who Remains. Who created the Time Variance Authority? Or take over his guardian duties? The premiere continues the story seamlessly. The new main directors for this season's and also executive within the show's established parameters. Mother.